Welcome to Mid-Century Living, your weekly nostalgia podcast about the best of technology and culture from the mid-20th century.
Welcome back to Mid-Century Living, the show where we talk all about the best of the mid-20th century and how to add vintage vibes to your modern life. We're your hosts, Gonzalo.
And Jackie, thank you for joining us today. So today we're doing another deep dive on a popular mid-century collectible. This time we're talking about Swung glass vases. If you'd like to skip ahead to our topic we're covering today, we have a timestamp in the show notes, or you can check out our cool new chapter links in the episode. But first, Gonzalo, how was your week?
My week was great. It was the first week of school. That's when we're recording. I know that we're on week 3 already. So future me, how are you doing? But it was good. It just, it's first days back from school are tough, so it requires a lot of perhaps adult alcoholic beverages.
Well, that's a great transition into my weekly catch-up, which is really just some food chat that I wanted to discuss. Okay, so for my birthday in June, I was gifted a bottle of Screwball peanut butter whiskey. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever...
No.
The name is unfortunate. The product is everywhere. Basically, I mean, it's delicious. It's very sweet. Basically, it tastes like the peanut butter equivalent of Fireball. Have you ever had Fireball?
I have had Fireball. I'm not the biggest... I mean, whiskey is whiskey. Why making it weird with...
So I've been trying to figure out what to do with this whiskey to make it a little bit more palatable. I prefer bitter cocktails. So the first thing I did was I was making like Reese's Old Fashions. Mm-hmm. Basically just like using the peanut butter whiskey and chocolate bitters. But the whiskey on its own is just like way too sweet for me. So I figured out that the answer is to cut it half peanut butter whiskey, half regular whiskey, and chocolate bitters, and that really solves that problem. And I just came up with another idea inspired by a Instagram reel from one of my favorite cocktail creators, Thirsty Whale, who made a tiki Negroni using a coconut oil fat-washed Campari and a banana-infused vermouth. And I was like, banana-infused vermouth? Do you know what tastes good with bananas? Peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
So I currently have in my pantry right now a cup of vermouth with a banana peel in it that I'm going to strain, and I'm going to make peanut butter Manhattans. Like peanut butter banana Manhattans.
So it's a sweet vermouth.
Yes, sweet vermouth.
Okay.
So I'm hoping it'll work. It sounds like it'll work.
It sounds like it would. It sounds like it shouldn't fail.
What would you do with the world's sweetest peanut butter whiskey?
I would toss it out the window.
Oh, that's a shame. It was a gift.
I would make a drink, take a picture, send it to the gift giver, and then toss it out the window.
I also think it would taste good just poured over like vanilla ice cream.
Oh, maybe you should reduce it into a syrup.
Ooh, honestly, it's pretty syrupy as is. Like, that's the thing is, like, you could probably use it in a cocktail and instead of simple syrup. That's how sweet it is to me. But It could just be, to me, personally, my palate has been kicked too much from, like, my vast collection of cocktail bitters, and my tastes have just gotten more bitter with age.
Yes. Well, I mean, speaking of bitters, one great thing that we did this summer, so in my wife's and I's honeymoon, we had a bar that we went to on the ship pretty much every night, and the bartender was the same guy every night, and he became a fast friend, and he's from Argentina. His name is Santi. Hi, Santi. Anyway, we kept like he was really good as a mixologist. Like, he was making all kinds of drinks. He would like be putting little things, and he would use little bottles and stuff. It was kind of like a show. But at one point, he's like, "What are y'all drinking?" And we typically drink gin-based things or whiskey-based things. Those are our two main liquors of choice. And I was like, "Well, at home I make this drink, this bourbon and coffee liqueur." And I say, I back before the cruise, I was like, I put equal parts. And I go, "Can you do something with that by like making your own?" And he goes, "I got you." And he made some stuff. And then over the next like 3 or 4 nights, I would be like, "Okay, this, like yesterday we did this, but what if you add this, or how would you garnish it?" And he's like, and then he would taste it a little bit, and I would do this, and then he would do it, and then we would drink like 3 or 4 of those, and they're strong.
So you're basically like workshopping this cocktail.
Yes.
That's
and
cool.
Yeah, and he has this little notebook where like he keeps his recipes, like his me made recipes. So I was able to add this drink into his notebook, and we called it the Argentine honeymoon, and it is delicious, and it includes chocolate and coffee bitters, and it is topped off with dehydrated orange as the garnish. So when we got home, we dehydrated some oranges and we bought bitters, and we have these little crystal bottles for bitters, which I'll send you a picture in a second. And it's great. And glass or crystal bottles is a great transition into today's episode of Swung Glass Vases, right?
It sure is. Look at this. Smooth transitions all around.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get on with the show. So Gonzalo, are you familiar with swung glass faces?
I am not.
Me neither, or I wasn't anyway, until I started joining MCM decor groups on Facebook. So like 6
Mm-hmm.
or 7 years ago, a lot of people collect these. My family never had these, but apparently they were very, very popular in the '60s, and therefore are popular with '60s enthusiasts. A lot of people in these Facebook groups have these gorgeous multicolored displays of them on their beautiful MCM credenzas. But either all of those people are rich or all of those people started before they started getting really popular, because these are definitely among the most expensive MCM collectibles out there. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. So, Gonzalo, why don't you start us off with an intro and some history?
Okay, putting on my hat. So the swung glass vases reached their height of popularity in the 1960s and remained moderately popular through the 80s. They have a free-form shape and are often vibrantly colored. Swung glass is often mistakenly called swing glass, but this is incorrect because the resulting vase has been, quote, swung. So they would be correctly referred to in the past tense. It's made by molten glass being pressed into a mold and then allowed to cool slightly. And then while the glass is still hot but has conformed to the shape of the mold, the glass blower picks up the vase by the neck or the bottom and swings it so that it stretches and twists. Because of the random results of this process, no two pieces are identical.
We'll put a video in the show notes of a modern glass artist making a swung glass vase. He doesn't start off with a mold for his original shape, but he does swing it at the end, so you can still kind of get the idea.
Yeah. When it comes to manufacturing swung vases, though, Bryce Higby is both the oldest company and the pioneer. The J.B. Higby Glass Company began producing swung vases in 1889. 3 other American companies are famous for making swung vases that came later on. They are the Viking Glass Company, founded in 1901 and then renamed in the mid-century in 1944, the L.E. Smith Company in 1907, and Fenton Art Glass Company of 1905.
Fun fact, some of these vases glow when exposed to blacklight. You may have heard of uranium glass, which could probably be its own episode.
It really should.
Uranium dioxide is the compound that gives uranium and Vaseline glass its greenish yellow glow under a blacklight. Fenton produced Vaseline glass swung vases at the height of uranium glass popularity.
Yeah, I feel like uranium glass is uranium in anything or any radioactive material in commonplace things is so mid-century because
Yeah.
everybody's like going on and on about how great nuclear is and this is and that is and it's radioactive but it's fine because it's good for your health, kind of like cigarettes are in the mid-century. And then we're like eventually like, oh, if we eat out of a bowl that's made out of uranium glass, we're gonna get sick.
Yeah, I like it for a decor item like a vase. I wouldn't mind. I don't have any uranium glass. I'm not into uh that's just not my glassware collectible. As you guys know, my glassware collectible of choice is Pyrex. So
I have green. Actually, you know what? Something bad that happened this week. I know we're already in the episode, but uh, listeners out there, you may have seen posts with my green glassware. And actually, if you guys saw after we talked about the 4 diners, and we put a picture of my inspired pancake breakfast, the strawberries in glass and green glassware. That green glass is from the 70s. It's not uranium, but the other night I was pouring myself pouring myself a bowl of ice cream, and I had the ice cream bowl on the counter and the ice cream container, and I was scooping it out, and it was hard ice cream because it was frozen. And when I moved the scoop, it pushed the container and it glided across the counter, and it hit the bowl, and the bowl went to the floor, and it shattered into a million pieces.
no. So that's the last photo we have of that bowl.
Well, there's 3 more.
Oh, phew. But
It was a set
now
of 4.
you only have 3, so you can only use that glass. You can only use those bowls if you only have one person over.
Well, my part of my thought was like, well, I should just break another one and then I have a set 2. But
Aw.
anyway,
All
why don't we
right.
talk about the 10 most valuable Swung glass vases?
Right. So, I understand that this will work better in a visual medium. I do intend to post a corresponding reel with this. So keep an eye out for that on our Instagram. But anyway, this list of the 10 most valuable swung glass vases were taken from an article from TexasAntiqueMall.com, which goes into a lot more detail about these vases. And I cut all of that out for time. So if you're interested in reading more about these vases, we'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
So, number 1, the L.E. Smith Purple Amethyst Simplicity Swung Vase. So, the L.E. Smith Glass Company introduced amethyst coloring in the early 1900s, but the Simplicity line was introduced in the 1960s. The amethyst swung vase earned the nickname Smoothie due to its streamlined exterior and smooth lines. And these vases go for $600 on first dibs.
Ooh.
Just with a grain of salt, take these prices. Most of them come from First Dibs or other auction sites, so it could be that these are slightly inflated prices. They might be a little cheaper if you come across them at an estate sale or something, but more on looking for deals later in the show. Or the second most valuable swung glass vase is the L.E. Smith Mid-Century Modern Pink Diamond Swung Vase. This one was created by the L.E. Smith Glass Company as part of their Mid-Century Modern line in the 1960s, and unlike the smooth vase of the last one, this one actually starts at a diamond pattern at the base, so as they swing it and stretch out the neck, it kind of flares outward to form a starburst. And this one goes for $600 on eBay. The next one is the Fostoria Heirloom White Opalescent Swung Vase, which is made of opalescent glass. The example that I'm going to feature is like a white pearl opaque glass.
It looks really cool.
It's really pretty. It was produced only between 1959 and 1962.
Which is surprising. Later on, when you tell me this price, I'll jump back in.
These swung vases actually came in yellow, green, and white. And a 17-inch version of this vase sold for $250 on eBay.
And here's where I jump back in, because I feel like it's weird that that's the price for something that's so rare that was only produced for 3 years.
I'm guessing a lot of these are taste things. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, if a style became more popular, it went up in price. It might not be how rare they are, so much as how sought after they are.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
The next one, and this one is my favorite, it's another opaque vase. It's the Orange Viking Swung Vase, and these were manufactured by the Viking Glass Company in the 60s. It's yellow at the base and dark orange at the mouth, so it looks kind of like a melting volcano. Very cool. This version in the article went for $295 on First Dibs, but you can actually get ones like floor length, like
Floor
40
height.
inches tall, like stand on the floor sizes of these, and they go for a lot more money. Like they go as small as a foot tall to as big as 40 inches tall.
Oh.
And they're really neat. And then number 5 is the Fenton Black Amethyst Swung Vase, which was produced by the Fenton Glass Company between 1960 and 1969. And at first glance, this vase appears black, but when it's exposed to sunlight, it actually is purple. And the one in the article went for only $150 on Etsy.
Oh, well, we can buy that. It's not like my $30,000 couch from our Mad Men episode. Moving on, though, the green Murano Swung Vase is the first European glass on this list. The Italian Murano Glass Company, which dates back to 1291, made this emerald green swung vase in the 1960s. And thankfully, we go back to high prices. Or not thankfully, but $700 on First Dibs.
Mm-hmm.
The 3-foil Viking Swung Vase is next, and it's really cool because this vase has like these 3 prongs that kind of come out the top. It's a cool gray color, and it has those 3 fingers at the opening, and they run about $400 on eBay. At 8, we have the L.E. Smith Blue Peacock Swung Vase, which looks just like the other swung vases. This one's from 1960s, and it's known as the Peacock Swung Vase because of its blue color and the fine lines running from top to bottom, making it look very feathery. About $140 to $250, depending on what auction site you use. The Northwood Electric Iridescent Study Jesper's Cap Swung Vase, which is a mouthful in and of itself, but looks really cool because it kind of looks like the vase was left in the sunlight and then it started melting.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
kind of droopy. It's inspired by a jester's hat. The Northwood electric iridescent swung vase was produced between 1908 and 1925, so it's a little bit older than our mid-century, but still pretty cool. Northwood collectors call the swung vase stubby, referring to his short stature, which is, you know what? You go, short king. Between 140 and 170, again, depending on what auction site you use. We go back to Italy for this next one, and last one on the list, the Italian Murano hand-blown sculpture long neck swung vase. I love how all these have these like ridiculously long names.
I think yeah, they're, I don't know if they're like item names or just how to
How
describe it
people
if you're
call them?
searching for it on Google.
Yeah. Well, as the name suggests, the Italian Murano swung vase is distinguished by its long neck. It has a sculpted fluted sign detail and comes in a variety of green hues. A 42-inch version of this sold on First Dibs for $1,950. And that is $2,000 for a glass vase, which you're not going to even put flowers on because it's 42 inches tall. What are you going to
Yeah,
do? Put a
and it's,
sunflower in it?
and the neck is too thin to put flowers in it. And that's the thing, most people don't put flowers in these vases. They just leave them on display. Um, and I mean, they are gorgeous. And I have one, but it was like a happy, they didn't know what they had at a garage sale find, and
Uh
I've
huh.
never gotten a deal on another one ever since. But I'm also not really out there looking for them because, again, I collect too much glassware as is, and we have a lot of knickknacks, so we don't have a lot of places to display these. Again, the prettiest displays are if you could get a bunch of these and put them on a credenza or something in front of a window,
Mm-hmm.
so that when the sun shines through, you get all these
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
I mean, you guys need to Google. I'll probably include in some Facebook post somewhere some photos of these collections, but they really are gorgeous. So if the prices didn't dissuade you, or you're just ready for a challenge and you're thinking about starting your own swung glass collection, here are some tips. So it's worth noting that many countries are still making swung vases today, intentionally reproducing the colors and styles of the vintage American glass. So how do you know if a piece you found is true vintage? Most modern glass features stamped or branded marks, so vintage vases would not do that. Back in the 19th century, American companies used an aluminum or paper tag to identify their work, so if yours has a stamp on it, it's modern.
Oh, good to know.
Also, keep an eye out for a seam from the mold at the bottom of the vase. As we mentioned earlier, they usually start out by pouring in a mold, and then after it's solidified in the mold, they take it out of the mold and swing it around, so the seam should fade away as the neck elongates. But if you see visible tool marks or flat places around the mouth of the vase or the pedestal or foot of the vase, these are a dead giveaway for a pulled or modern vase. It wouldn't have been stretched as naturally. You'd be seeing the seam all the way up in a more uniform way, so you'll
Yeah.
know they probably just recreated that shape with a jaunty mold.
Yeah, and I don't know if we made a really good job at explaining the swinging part of this vase. Like Jackie said, that there's a seam on the bottom, and then they kind of goes away with the neck because the bottom part is like what was molded, and once you swing glass because of centrifugal force, it starts elongating. So like any detail that you had in the mold on the glass is going to start fading away as the glass expands and or stretches, really, not expands, and takes its detailing with it. So it's really cool. And like I said, there's no two pieces that are the same. You can use the same mold 14 times in a row, and you're never going to get two of the same.
Yeah, they are very, very cool. So, as you heard from our list up there, these are some of the most expensive MCM collectibles on the market, but there are still deals to be found if you look hard enough. So here are some tips. Remember, you can always find reasonably priced smaller swung vases in thrift stores or garage sales. The 40-inch floor vases will probably always be expensive when you find them, so if you're just starting out, I would focus on looking for the smaller vases. Antique stores tend to be more expensive than antique malls, where they have individually owned booths. Another hot tip in general for antique mall shopping is sometimes if you catch the owner of the booth, they usually make random visits to refresh their inventory or like dust or something. You can usually haggle with them on prices if you see them in person because they'd rather just make the sale.
Yeah.
So if you catch somebody, do not be shy. Just go ahead and ask, and like, hey, could you do $20 for this or whatever? As long as it's a fair offer, obviously.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
estate sales and Facebook Marketplace are also good options. Try to find estate sales run by the owner and not by estate sale companies. Estate sale companies love to look on eBay before they price their items. You
Yeah,
want to
because they're
find
gonna.
people selling their own stuff, or better yet, somebody selling their parents' stuff and not doing the research. They just want it out of the house.
Yeah, I, I don't, I don't know. I I got feelings and thoughts because they look cool, but I also don't like knickknacks.
Ah.
And I don't, like we have I guess some vases in the house, but we use them for flower. Like we use the vases. If they're not being used with flowers, then they're in a cupboard.
Hmm.
So like I don't know if it would look right in the house to have these swung vases and not using them for flowers. But
Yeah. Yeah, we're collectible people. Boyfriend and I have a lot of knickknacks on display. I mean, and not all of them are mid-century. We just have a lot of stuff. We do tend not to display things that don't kind of fit in with the vintage vibe. And I get
oh, which is hold that thought for later on.
but yeah, we do have one swung vase, but yeah, just because we found a really good deal and it matches the kitchen. It's an orange pedestal footed. It's actually like 20 inches tall.
Ooh.
We found it for $5. It is worth way more than that, but that's the only reason why I have one.
Mm.
If I ever run across one, that's the thing is like I collect too much stuff to commit to a bit, but I'm like I wasn't gonna pass up a deal, and it looks great in my kitchen. And again, I'm aware that this is much more of a visual episode, so I please would love to encourage anyone to go to our Instagram so you can look at some of these vases.
Yeah.
But now that we're caught up to the present, it's time for our etiquette segment. So, Gonzalo, what do we have today?
So since we talked about house art essentially, because we talked about vases, which actually, you know what, we didn't say. You say vase or vase?
Well, clearly I say vase because I said that the whole time.
I said vase because you said vase. I don't know what I say normally.
Oh, I always say vase.
I don't know. Someone tell me. Next time I say it, just be like, oh, you said it like this. But anyway, because we talked about house art, today's etiquette is related to decorating.
Fun.
We're gonna take a leaf out of a different book today, like literally, because we are going to not be looking at the book by Amy Vanderbilt, but instead from Emily Post's etiquette book, or to say this full government name, the Emily Post's Etiquette: the Blue Book of Social Usage. There was actually a gift from my wife's cousin Erica. So hey Erica, if you're listening, this is the book you gave us. We're using it on the show. The tip comes from the shortest section in the book, titled Part 14, The Well-Appointed House. And it's actually a small foreword about the personality of the house rather than tips on how to decorate it, how to make your house be a house.
Fun.
Yeah. So she says that every house has an exterior that is to be made presentable and an interior continually said to be in order. Basically, luxuries can be added indefinitely, but a small house cannot be a, quote, splendid mansion any more than a diamond weighing but half a carat can compare with a stone weighing 15 times as much. She's more poetic in her writing than Amy Vanderbilt, whereas Amy Vanderbilt's more sassy.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. Basically, though, your charming little house cannot be a mansion, no matter how much decor you stuff in it. So decorate accordingly to what your house is. I feel like this can also stretch to like if your house is built in the 1940s, you should decorate it like it's the 1940s. If your house was built in 2021, it might look weird if there's some modern and some past things. A gem of a house may be no size at all, but its lines must be honest and its painting and furnishings in good taste, is what she says. Basic house care, like keeping your exterior appealing for the neighborhood, keeping the paths and sidewalk beautifully neat, steps scrubbed, brushes polished, and its bell, quote, answered promptly. Because running the house is as important as how it looks to the personality of the house. Answer the door neatly and promptly, she says. A clean, a polished mansion that is answered by a, quote, sloppy and disinterested servant might as well be placarded, meaning might as well be covered up because it the way that it's run, the personality of the house, if the personality is rotten because the people that live in it are disinterested and like grumpy when they open the door, it's like, okay, well, your house was beautiful, but since you're grumpy, like it just brings down the look of the house.
Interesting.
Houses should have personality. A house without personality is a, quote, series of walled enclosures with furniture standing about them. Just a great quote. Suitability is the key. You dress for the occasion, so your house should be dressed for the occasion as well. Stick to a time period or adjacent, meaning that, you can go, if your period is 1940s, you can do a little bit of 50s and 30s, right? Maybe a little 60s as well. But again, if your main look is 1940s and you bringing a bunch of like random 2020s decor into like the guest bedroom, but everything else 1940s, it might look odd. Emily mentions that combining many and making it look good is hard. So, quote, combining something French, something Spanish, something Italian, and something English into an American house and have the result be the perfection of American taste is a feat that has been accomplished only by those who know, end quote.
So it can be done by the professionals.
Yes, but average you and me, maybe not.
Probably not.
She also says to use proportioned furniture and decor. Don't put a big piece of furniture in a room where everything else is small proportions because it'll look out of scale. And then sometimes homeowners cling into treasures for reasons of sentiment, meaning if you collect something, make it easily accessible. She's not shying away from things like if you collect the Swung glass vases, she's not shying away from collecting things. She's just saying that you should display these all in one room, not scattered about the rooms of your house so that it looks like a museum. Like make it a point to, if you collect something, showcase that you collect it. Don't put like one item here in the living room and one item in the foyer and one item in the kitchen, because then it just looks like you have stuff, not that you are purposely collecting it. So, Jackie, what do you think about these etiquettes?
I like them, I guess, mainly because I'm already doing a lot of that. Like all my Pyrex together.
Yeah, it really is.
All my Jello molds are on the same wall in the kitchen. We kind of have all our vintage like brass together. We mostly follow these etiquette tips. And
But did you follow them because you read them before? Do you follow them because...
like this is just kind of how I felt. It felt natural to decorate in this way.
Good.
When we moved into the house and started doing stuff. It used to be more eclectic at our apartment. We just kind of put things wherever we found space.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think something about starting from a blank slate, we were able to it just kind of naturally did that. Though I do have like some Pyrex on the credenza that's like not in the hutch and stuff like that.
But it's next to it. The credenza, if I remember correctly, is next to the hutch.
Yeah, it's
you don't have it like next to the TV in the living room.
No. So, yeah, I don't hate this. I do love the idea. Well, I don't know. The thing I don't like is that, say, if I were to buy a new build house tomorrow, I'd still probably decorate it like it was the 60s, but I do kind of agree that it would look funny. If my ceilings were taller.
Yeah.
Like the vibe of the house right now really matches the fact that my house was built in the 50s, and my low furniture with high ceilings would look kind of goofy. Stuff like that.
I feel like it's the way I took it was, don't mix and match too much. I feel like a modern house, especially like a contemporary one with like low lines and not a whole lot of color, just like very clear, very defined, that would be fine with mid-century or MCM furniture. Now, if you were put like an MCM couch with a really beautiful MCM coffee table in a like conversation pit, and then behind that you have an IKEA shelf, like the Kallax IKEA shelf. Ugh, I'm not to say anything bad against the Kallax. I got 14 of them in the house, but like there's one next to me right now.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think it would look good in that type of situation. So I'm okay with these rules or guidelines.
Yeah, I am too. I say we should approve these tips. Interesting. I like that we're branching out onto a different book too. So,
well, I wanted to look something up, and I didn't even look at Amy Vanderbilt. She's over there on her shelf. I'm gonna put not Amy. I'm gonna put Emily next to her in a second. But yeah, this is actually a pretty cool book. It looks organized very similarly to Amy Vanderbilt's. There's also a whole section on wedding invitations. But and also on the spine it says it was published by Funk and Wagnalls, and I just find that hilarious name.
Oh, I've heard that as a phrase. Like, oh man, you're just triggering something. I don't know the phrase. Maybe someone can let us know in the comments or send us a DM. Like, I've heard like consulting your funkin' wagnalls as a, like, people use that as a, like, check your funkin' wagnalls. I've heard that phrase. What is that from? Is that just some old
I don't
timey thing
know.
people say? Gosh, somebody let me know.
I've never heard of that before.
I hadn't even thought about it until you said that out loud, and then it just like triggered this memory. So I wonder if that's like a real thing. We'll have to Google that later.
Well,
Somebody let me know.
it looks like, I mean, Funk and Wangles were a publishing company. In the 1960s, they were known chiefly for their reference works.
Ah, so that's probably it. Like, probably mean like look it up.
Yeah, like look it up. Like not necessarily just etiquette, but like, you know, they probably had a lot of like what to do if like something happened. Like they probably had a book about like at home first aid or whatever, or like I don't know, how to do this, how to do that, like DIY. Well, check your Funk and Wangles because that probably has the information you're looking for.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, but it is
Yeah.
a funny name.
It is a funny name. That also kind of sounds like you're cursing if you say it fast.
Oh, curse you, Funk and Wangles. But
well, this was a short and sweet episode today. Hopefully you guys don't mind.
no, I think it was great, and I feel like we've also reached the end of our long-necked vase, and we've landed the plane. So thank you all for listening today. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the show and tell a friend.
You can also follow us on YouTube and Instagram at MCL Podcast. Instagram is the best place to send us feedback and episode suggestions. Send us a DM anytime. And you can also contact us through the Send Us a Text Message feature in the show notes.
Yeah, so send us some fan mail. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Bye!
Thank you for listening to Mid-Century Living. Please subscribe, tell your friends, and leave a review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also follow us on Instagram at MCL Podcast. See you next Friday.